Hi guys, and welcome to the Friday Live thing with me, Mark Thompson, and Tim Goodwin, who's looking very misty today for some reason. I think he's put Vaseline on his camera to make him look young and beautiful. It failed miserably. How you doing, Tim?
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah.
Why can't I see tubs of lean greens on the cupboards behind you, on the shelves behind you?
Because we ran out of stock again, and
Right. So this week we actually want to talk about something that we have actually covered in the past, and it's like what to do when basically the crap hits the fan. To be more polite, you're going to get problems. For example, this week, Tim announced he's doing this live event in London. I thought, you know what? It's been 2 years since we actually did a live event. I think it was next week or something, wasn't it? 2 years ago, next week. So I thought, let's do a live event this year. And I suddenly went, well, I can't, because what happens with coronavirus? Suddenly, if everyone gets stopped traveling or they stop events, I thought, you got traffic and conversions happening at the end of the month. Is that going to go ahead? I mean, if they're stopping games of football now and rugby matches, trying to stop people traveling, you can't travel from Italy to Austria now. So yeah, it just takes one person at traffic and conversions. Sorry,
it's mostly an overreaction by like governments to a certain degree, but you can understand why they're doing it.
Obviously, they don't do it, and someone dies, they're accused of not doing anything, and if no one dies, they're accused of doing too much. So.
Yeah, very much so. But one of the things that's actually happened, which one of the biggest impacts of this so far has been a lot of the people in the dropshipping world, a lot of people in the Amazon space, their suppliers mostly are in China. So, think of Alibaba and like the all of the different manufacturers who use the Alibaba network. They're all Chinese. And the people that are buying from them are either in America or in the UK or in Germany, and they're getting stuff shipped from China.
Yeah.
The manufacturers have been shut down.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy because you build your business and around a business model that works for you, and then suddenly one single cog in the whole system breaks down. And okay, you've not got stock because your manufacturers just were slow to finishing it. It's not like it's on its way, so yes. It's not like, sorry, we have to close the factory down for 3 months because all our workers may get infected. I mean, it is scary. It's going to affect a lot of people.
One of the things that and it's one of the things that I kind of have sleepless nights about more than anything else is like, what happens if? And it's like, the not so one of my favorite quotes from him is like, worst number in business is 1. So we do have backups of like different manufacturers that we can use. So there are options available to us. And I'll come on to contract manufacturers because it's an interesting subject. Certainly if you are in the physical product space, there's pretty much today you can get pretty much anything manufactured for you. You do not, if you want to create a product, you don't have to create it yourself. You don't have to create a manufacturing plant like you did 30 years ago. You basically just jump on Google, do a search, and you'll find yourself contract manufacturers. And there are contract manufacturers for pretty much everything now. Problem is that like in the current world, we've relied very heavily on China, and touch wood, that much. So like the raw ingredients of stuff comes from there, but generally the stock that we've got, or the raw ingredient stock that's available to us, should last us for a couple of years before we run out of that. So it's not as big a deal from that perspective. But for me, for example, for like when shit hits fan, like a contract manufacturer kind of goes bad, it's like, well, I actually have a choice. I can, take my my recipe, my blend, my specification for my product, and take it to another contract manufacturer and go, hey guys, produce 2,000 of these, produce 4,000 of those, please, off you go. And it's a there are options available to us. So it's not as big a deal as people kind of make out it to be for some industries. But if you're so heavily reliant on one manufacturer in a far off place that you so yeah, I would de-risking very much is especially if once you get to a certain size is certainly very, very important.
Yeah, it's you always have to have a plan B. I mean, there's no point in running a business if you don't have plan B. It's like when I woke up one morning and AdSense or Google had de-indexed basically my whole income. Luckily, I had a plan B, because I built up in parallel an affiliate business which took over. So I mean, we all focus on our business as it is now, but just take one part of that business away, and what's going to happen? Right? I mean, you lose your Facebook account, you lose your ad account. What is your plan B?
To be honest with you, right at this moment, blocked my account, I would probably do naked backflips in the garden, because honestly, Facebook is driving me insane at the moment with like how inconsistent they are. And when you spend so much money with a platform, we've had this, it's a reoccurring theme almost, that we have this discussion about Facebook and like how inconsistent it can be. And like, they change their rules on a regular basis, which is a good point. I've got a thing to tell you about Facebook. The challenge that you have there is that you're constantly having to keep up with their game. And it's like, okay, so how can you control the traffic flow? How can you control the audience that you're receiving? And there are other ways of getting traffic. Facebook is just one of many different traffic sources. The reason why we use it is because it's the most accessible, and we've kind of like can't give you like that gateway drug of like, boost this post to get 3,000 more people to view your post kind of thing. That's the gateway drug to all of the other shit that you have with Facebook. And like, you get suckered into how easy it is to run ad campaigns and how easy it is to get traffic to your business. So, having a plan B, and very much the case that at the moment we're running through an awful lot of stuff to do with Google Ads and also other traffic. Say, for example, organic traffic. I've spent this week optimizing my Shopify store so that we get more organic traffic. So we've actually invested with a company that specializes in optimization for Shopify stores and Shopify themes. So they've gone in and optimized my Shopify site to make it run faster. And they reckon that, the speed changes of on average 20% faster. Well, actually 20% is a huge amount. If I can knock off a second or a second and a half of the page load speed, then we're maintaining 5, 10, 15, 20% more people on our site who would normally like drop off because the page loads too slowly. So it's things like that you can do when shit hits fan, and it's like you go, okay, what other areas can I optimize in my business that is not reliant on that manufacturer or that traffic stream, and that's super important, that you kind of you're not a one-trick pony. That's what we're trying to say here.
You have built-in redundancy. I mean, you could have the best business model, the best funnels in the world, but if one bit breaks or one bit goes down, and you've got no other way of getting people into that funnel or progressing them further in your funnel, you've got a problem. So always try to work out built-in redundancy. So, for example, if you're running Facebook ads, well, set up some Google ads in parallel to that, you only need to run a couple of dollars a day. Even if you're running $1,000 a day on Facebook, just run a couple of dollars a day on Google, so you've got it there running. And then if anything happens to Facebook, you can just turn on the Google stuff because you'll have it optimized at the time. Work for organic traffic. Even if I'm not interested in organic traffic, I'll always make sure that the pages I have, the on-site SEO is good, because then it's only a simple step to start getting links to it to boost it a little bit more. If you're relying on external companies, look at ways that you can change it. So obviously we've got our free group at the foundation hosted on Mighty Networks. So if Mighty Networks goes down tomorrow, what do? Simple. I've got everyone's email. We've got a Facebook group that's still set up. Right? So all I've done is archive the Facebook groups, but they're still there. So it's just a case of taking that email, emailing everyone, saying, hey, we've had to move back to Facebook because of A, B, and C. See you there. So it's not going to be the end of the world. It's not like burning all your boats and going, we're stuck here now. We're stuck in this desert island and no one can find us. So yeah, build in redundancy. It's the best thing you can do.
Actually, one of the things I was reading about this week, because I've been sort of like had a little bit more free time than I would normally have. I've been reading Andre's email marketing, the art of email marketing kind of guide that he's been pulling together. It's like a short mini free course thing. And one of the interesting things from that was I think stuff, and and they were talking about how email is still one of the reasons why it still works is because it's completely separate from it's not owned by anybody. Nobody owns email.
Yeah.
And it's one of the great things with email is that you essentially own, to a certain degree, the ability to contact your customers, your prospects, if you have that email address. Yeah. So people can't take that away from you. So like a Facebook can't take that away from you. A Google can't take that away from you. Basically, it's your email list. You can email them, and it's free, to do it. Obviously, using different email services, but nobody can take that away from you. That ability to communicate with them. Whereas with Facebook, you can have your account shut down. With Google Ads, you can have your ISP could shut down your website, but ultimately you own the email list, and that's hugely powerful. And one of the reasons why we continue to use email marketing and email as our central source for driving traffic and to drive more business and repeat business and all that kind of thing, because it's consistent. It's something that we can rely on. Nobody's never going to take that away from me.
Right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop a knowledge bomb here.
Ooh.
Okay. So this week I've been working on Big Income. Yeah. I've been working on Big Income Small List version 4. I've actually released it and sent people links to it. Right. So this weekend, go into your email service provider if you've got one, and if you haven't, go and get one. Go to your contact section.
Don't use ActiveCampaign.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what you use. Go into your contact section and click on your contacts. Now do a search. They should have an advanced search function for people who read your last 2 emails and haven't bought one of your products. Then create an email to those people and make them an offer. So bundle it with something. Don't discount it, just bundle it. Okay, and then send that email, and you will make money. Now, here's the gotcha. If your email service provider does not have the ability to do that, so you can't see who's opened your last emails, you can't segment them out, you can't, you haven't got them tagged who bought what, leave that email service provider on Monday morning.
Yeah.
Seriously, go to one that can do it, because you think, so this is one of the things I put out in the SMO Pro group this week. If you actually systemize this, okay, so let's say you've got a list of 1,000 people, or 100 people, doesn't matter how many. If every week or every 2 weeks you go, okay, in 2 weeks time, I'm going to promote product B, right? You get your little audience of people who haven't bought product B, and you just educate them about why they should. Just give them tip after tip after tip for 2 weeks, and then run a 3-day promo to that group. What's happened is you've got a small group of maybe 10% of your audience, or even more, and you're going to send them an offer in 2 weeks' time. So you're going to get a windfall in 2 weeks' time. You're not going to bother the rest of your list with offers that aren't relevant. So you could systemize this, and every 6 to 8 weeks, you'd have an offer going out to a small group of people. So you're going to maximize the benefit of your list. You're going to basically, give yourself a system where you've got monthly or weekly or bi-weekly or every 6 weeks a windfall of $2,000 or $3,000, $3,000, $4,000, whatever you want to do. When I did my sort of 80 people that brought in, I think it was almost 10 grand. That's how I did it. That's exactly what I did. So there you go. That's a knowledge bomb I promised, or one of the knowledge bombs I promised.
So one of the things that literally Sam and I were talking about in the office just before I came onto this live call was like, okay, so Facebook's been inconsistent. What can we do differently? What are we not doing that we have done in the past that has worked really, really well? One of the things for us is direct mail, and actually sending offers to, it's like, this is an internet marketing live call. Why are we talking about direct mail and sending post? Oh my God, that's outrageous. So one of the wanted to try and get people back, so reactivation campaigns. And again, it's like we do have email that goes out on a consistent basis. So if somebody hasn't bought for 90 days, we send them a message basically going, hey, haven't seen you for a while, come back, we've got this, XYZ offer. So exactly like Mark's talking about. And it's just a way of, we've got that automated. The problem is that email is, for as great as it is, generally only reaches 30-40% of our audience. Google does its best, Gmail specifically does its best to filter our filter the inbox of for Gmail. And the problem with that is that it's kind of they exert a little bit of control like Facebook does in terms of basically gets rid of an awful lot of stuff in the general news feed. So if you think that your news feed is filtered, it's not showing you everything from everybody. The same kind of happens in Google and Gmail, which is the only one frustration with email. But most people do get emails, but 30-40% of people are opening them, the rest of them not. So how do we reach 100%? And we send postcards. So don't know whether you can see that.
And notice star.
I know. So real simple postcard. They cost about 10p a piece or whatever it is to get them printed. It's an offer for our preferred program. And essentially, it's the cost of a stamp and the time for me to pull off the CSV file to actually get the labels, the address label bits, and we send that off to our customers. So we haven't done this for a while, and it's kind of like we really need to do that more often. And given that Facebook, one of the problems with Facebook, you kind of get sucked into this whole like, I've got to get new customers all of the time, and you spend an awful lot of money trying to get new customers, and you forget about the recurring, the repeat, the other two pillars of scaling and growing any business, and that's increasing the transaction value and increasing the frequency that they purchase. And that can be done through so many different mediums because you already have their details. If you run an online business, you generally should have their email address. Hopefully you might also have a physical address as well, where you can send them postcards and cards and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to start doing some of that as well. And it's a great way just to kind of like send out little offers. And it's, as Mark says, it's like you segment your audience. You can go real tight with this. So You know, you're not looking to send out, you know, to all 7,000 of our customers. No, what we're going to do is 800 people. We just go, okay, who's not bought in 90 days but has bought more than 3 times from us? Okay, they're a great sort of segment to go for. Who's bought like more than 250 quid worth of stuff but has not bought for a year? How can we get them back? Who's, you know, been previous subscriber to our subscription program but has dropped off for whatever reason? What can we do? What can we send to them to try and reactivate them? And it's little pockets like that, big income, small lists. You know, that's the approach that you can go with. And there is huge margin in doing that with like those tight segments. We kind of get sort of baffled a little bit and blown away by the big numbers. We get like suckered into like going, oh well, I've reached 100,000 people today through my Facebook ads, and you know, we've had like, you know, 1,000 freaking do, but if only like, you know, less than 1% of them converted. You know, and that's the challenge that we all have, is like, okay, so the people we already have a relationship with, those are the people that we're going to get a much better response rate from.
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing that, and for example, those postcards you've got there, absolutely perfect, because if you lose your Facebook account tomorrow and coronavirus makes the internet go down, you can still send out a postcard and you can still contact all your customers.
Yep. Yeah, I have a backup of, you know, of our customer lists. So like with all of their address details, and I have that offline as well as online. And it's like, it's just sensible things to do. Some people go, oh yeah, but that's like overkill. But well, page when shit does hit fan. Okay, well, what happens if not internet going down is a pretty drastic thing, and like, you know, the world will crumble pretty quickly. Yeah. But it's like we have to go back to very dear. But no, there are plenty of things you can do. So one of the other things I was going to talk about very briefly was one of the things that's affecting quite a lot of Facebook advertisers at the moment is that Facebook changes their regulations on a regular basis. They change their ad policy on a regular basis, and it's worthwhile every month going in and looking to see if there's been any policy changes on the ad platform that you use, because a lot of advertisers at the moment are getting caught out by some fairly significant changes to the policy is people using the emoticon star symbol. So like, you know, when people go 5-star review and they put 5 stars, okay, and I've done this because I've legitimately had customers give us a 5-star review and I put that onto an advert. Now Facebook are basically going, that's basically not allowed anymore. And a lot of people are using those adverts, or got adverts from way back when, which are still running, and all of a sudden they're getting their ad accounts shut down because of it. So I don't know what the word, I think it's obfuscation or something like obfuscation. I think there's the technical word for it. So basically using like, I've no idea. Basically using like, you know, emoticons like incorrectly to kind of overly promote or like, you know, negative. They've outlawed now. So a lot of people, I still use emoticons in some of my ads, which is good. But like using 5 stars, a lot of people have been using 5 stars when they actually don't have a 5-star review for anything, and they're just going 5 stars because it attracts the attention. It's the thing that people are used to. So that's why they've outlawed it. So definitely go back through your ads and make sure you're not using any of those if you are using reviews as part of your retargeting campaigns. But it's worthwhile keeping an eye on like those ad policy guidelines, because honestly you will get caught out otherwise. So
It's one of the reasons that regularly every 3 months I go and delete all my old ads, which is a real pain because I mean, I have all the data and the stats. I know what's working, but it's just not worth leaving old ads in Facebook because when they do a scan, they look at all the ads, like even the ones from 3 or 4 years back that you may have left in your account. If those aren't legal now, they will ban your account for something you haven't run for 4 or 5 years. I know a few people got caught out on old ads because they were used as examples and they were illegal. So I mean, just clear out your ads regularly.
The other thing to note is that if you're in any particular health vertical, or if you're advertising any particular health products, do not use the word coronavirus in your ads. I know this seems like a really obvious thing, but don't use coronavirus in your ads, because honestly, that will get your account shut down pretty quick as well. I think Facebook came out about 2 weeks ago and basically said it's not allowed to promote or to make a claim about your product based upon coronavirus. So I was already starting to see like claim to protect you from coronavirus and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, it's no wonder like that they've had to clamp down pretty damn quick on these things. So but yeah, don't use that. I know there's not many people in the health verticals. There are certainly some, but yeah, it's definitely worthwhile making sure that you're not doing that. I don't know whether I need to say that, because I know that we've only got serious smart marketers on here. So
right, come on, let's do it. I think we're going to knock this on the head because Tim's feed is terrible today. Keep on breaking up. So, well, it's breaking up for me anyway. So I'm assuming it's breaking up for everyone else. Right, come and join us in the foundation. We'll give you lots of tips and stuff to do. Yeah, what else is there? Anything else?
What else is there?
Anything you want to talk about?
Just as a reminder, obviously I'm going and doing this live event in London, 31st of March, 1st of April. Yeah, come check out the links that are in the foundation, and I think if Mark's nice, he'll put them in the description below and for the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'll stick it. I'll post your email again that we sent yesterday. Right, yeah, you're ready for everyone, mate. So that's a problem from working from the office with your crap Wi-Fi, your Scottish Wi-Fi.
Scottish Wi-Fi.
Did you get snow this week?
Yeah.
It's only 21 degrees today.
That's why my screen's all snowy.
Hang on. Here you go, quick one. There you
go. Yeah. Basically, the question is like my fella started using Facebook ads, and his starting interface is ka-ching. Just made a sale. Whoopie do.
Not sending anything out then, isn't it?
Well, I might have sold like fish oils or something. I don't know. Yeah, no. There's actually a couple of different interfaces in Facebook at the moment. I've got an ads manager that looks different to another ads manager that I've seen out there. Plus, there's what I call the For Dummies guide to Facebook ads. When you click on your Facebook page and you click Run Ad, or create ad or promote my page or something like that, they do look totally different. So yeah, they're going through a change in user interface, and I think that is you're probably either on a legacy one and they're on the new one, or vice versa. There's a whole bunch of changes with Facebook going on right now. Is why I've turned off every single advert. The CBO, so campaign budget optimizer, becomes the default from, I think it's from tomorrow or the day after. Yeah. I think it's tomorrow. CBO becomes default. So there's a whole bunch of changes happening, and whenever they make wholesale massive changes to the things break, and like ad campaigns stop working properly and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. What's happened branding?
Yeah, we were going to cover it today.
Oh yeah, that was right. Yeah, we were.
We'll do it next week.
Yeah, the like course. Yeah, there's different ways. As I say, I've seen different ad platforms or Facebook ad managers. You know, I was technically they still work the same, but yeah, it just looks different. Facebook.
Yeah. Okay, let's knock it on the head there, Tim, because you're
Sorry.
getting worse. Your stutter's getting really bad. You need to go and speak to a speech therapist. Right, guys. See you next week. Hopefully we have a better line next week. Bye.